Hello, hello, and welcome to another edition of Around the Ice on Fantasy and Frames. We got all kinds of hockey going on right now, so we are going to get right to it. Stick with us here for Around the Ice, all your gambling, fantasy, and hockey action on Fantasy and Frames. I'm here with my guy, Toast Clark and Aaron Titch 4141. I'm JT Orange. JT in the house for you tonight. All kinds of hockey action going. We've got live bets flying off the charts. Things are getting crazy. You know what, guys? Instead of going, usually we start things off with Around the Ice segment. Let's get into the gambling segment right off the bat. Let's get it.
Where's my money? You gonna give me my money? Where's my money, man?
Show this man his money. Let's talk about some gambling bets. We've got live action going right now. We've just talked about jumping on a few bets. Toast, get us up to date where we're at.
Well, it'll bleed over and around ice. That's completely fine, JT. But big comebacks tonight in hockey. I mean, Colorado was actually down 4-0 in the first right off the bat. Tage Thompson gets a couple goals. Colorado has actually made it 5-4, and that may end up being final here. They storm back. McKinnon's got 3 points in that. What a hell of a comeback. Also, same thing. Pittsburgh was up 4-1.
Any live bets you got right now? Any live bets you got for anybody who wants to jump on? We were just trying to get on the Panthers, and they scored right as we were trying to live bet them at plus 265. Right now, we got Detroit Boston game going. We got Colorado Buffalo. We got Seattle Carolina. Montreal Islanders is 1-1. Florida's been making their way back on Pittsburgh. San Jose, Washington has been tied up. Anything we like going in here for anybody that's jumping right on the show and looking to get in some late live action here?
Yeah, you can get Columbus Blue Jackets. What's that?
Yeah, no, the San Jose. I was going to say the San Jose just put it in the net. They live bet. They just scored it back. Celebrini got some teeth knocked out. He was mad. And then the San Jose just put the power play, so I just missed it. Sorry about that. Should have jumped in there.
Getting the win.
Yeah. They put a 4-on-3 overtime, and of course they zammed that center part. So yeah, they have the clean sheet, and they just beat the Cavs.
There you go. An Avalanche ended up holding off 5-4 over the Sabres. That was one we were looking at. Kraken 4-2 over the Canes. Canadians 2-1 over the Islanders. Here's what I like, Toast. You guys tell me what you like about this. We got Columbus, Calgary going right now. I think we're on the Blue Jackets here, right? Let's jump on the Blue Jackets live. Yeah, let's jump on Vancouver 2-1 over Minnesota. Jump in there.
Yeah, and JT, Columbus pre-game was plus 105. They're one of my bets I actually liked before. I like it even better now because you're halfway through the game. I guarantee that that plus 105, with them actually being the road dog, slight road dog anyway, it's probably at plus 125 or plus 130. It's time to bet Columbus on the live bets now. They have been scoring in bunches, man. If you can actually also get them on the live bet right now at over 2.5 total goals for Columbus. Beforehand, the game, they were actually minus 145, and I actually found that on DraftKings. I would imagine now they're probably closer to actually minus 110, 115 for over 2.5 total goals. Love that. Emotional game there tonight. Columbus versus.
Here's what I'm on right now. I'm on Columbus. I'm on Columbus live bet right now. I'm on Winnipeg was minus 25 open. It's 0-0 in the middle, almost the end of the second. I'm on Winnipeg in that one, live bet that one. Florida, Pittsburgh 4-4, throw Florida in there to win. And I got to go with my home gut. I'm jumping on Red Wings here against Boston. 2-2, 5 minutes left in the third. I'm jumping on that. That is going to be my 4-pick JT parlay play of the day. Live bet right now. Columbus Blue Jackets, Winnipeg Jets, Florida Panthers and Detroit Red Wings. If you're jump on that right now. Live bets in action. All these games are in the second or third period, other than Columbus-Calgary game, which is still in the first. Anything you guys jumping out at you guys or bet you had going on tonight? I know we jumped out of line here. We're getting excited about the bets. I wanted to tell people about the bets early. Anything else you guys are liking for tonight? And I know, Toast, you liked a couple things in the Oilers Golden Knights game later on at 9 o'clock Central, 10 Eastern.
Yeah, real quick, and I'll let Aaron jump in there. But right now, you can get Florida as well. They've stormed back again. It was 4-1. They are pumping them. They're over 25. They're plus 25 on the shots on goal over Pittsburgh tonight. It shouldn't be this close. The puck line, the minus 1.5 on the live bet is actually plus 800 right now. Guarantee if Florida ends up getting a goal here, it'll end up being another empty netter. It's actually worth a $20 sprinkle to go ahead and actually get the Florida Panthers on the puck line. But I also love the Vegas Edmonton tonight. Over 1.5 total goals in the first period. Vegas was my lock the other night. They screwed me on a parlay. It would have ended up being a huge night. And Vegas ended up hosting Utah, and Utah comes into Vegas and beats them 6-0, which would end up being Vegas's worst home loss in franchise history. So how about the luck on that one? Which that was the only leg we actually needed on a 4-leg parlay. Vegas that end up going. They get embarrassed at home. You better believe hosting Edmonton tonight. Edmonton can score much as we know that. Vegas is going to want to come out actually humming. They want to actually make up for what actually happened. At over 1.5 total goals in the first period, I think you end up getting it minus 150.
We got Jamie jumping in here saying, "Hey guys, wish I could stick around. Just wanted to say hi. He's got to take off." Jamie, always love when you jump in here and give us your 2 thoughts. Thank you. Appreciate it. Anybody else has questions? Any bet you like, feel free to jump in here in the chat. Let us know. Bet you like questions, any of that stuff. We've got a ton of more segments coming up. Trades. We're going to talk about fantasy. We're going to talk about everything else. We kind of skipped ahead of the betting segment tonight just because we had so much action going right in your face. We want to get in there. And of course, the second I tell you to take Winnipeg, St. Louis comes up with 2 goals here. Oh, now I'm going to have to live bet Winnipeg down 2-0 after they just gave up 2 late goals here. Oh, that's rough. Hullabuck has been just phenomenal. It's just given up 2 goals here in the last 2. Gave up 2 goals in 40 seconds. Jordan Kyrou, assist from Braden Shen, and then Dylan Holloway, an unassisted goal back to back here at the end of the second period to go up 2-0 as we're almost at the end. I'm going to have to jump back in on Winnipeg.
Yeah, and I hate to break it to you now too, JT, but I think you mushed your Red Wings too. They well, they're killing off the power play. They're 4-on-3 right now, but their kill looks pretty good. So maybe it'll be okay. But before that penalty,
they've been best on their special teams this year. To be honest with you, they've their power play has been great, and they've been decent on the penalty kill. Even strengths actually with Red Wings this year.
Yes. Throughout the year, yes. The 5-on-5 is tonight's game though. Their 5-on-5 looks good. Raymond's already dropped in too, and both of those 5-on-5. I think Boston just has one of their goals. I know is the power play. Hopefully they're not going to get another one here because Detroit's looking pretty good on this kill. But when they're even strength, I like Detroit. Detroit's playing with some momentum here, and Boston seems to be. At least at the end of the second, going into the third, they were kind of stuck in their own side. So we'll see. I like the bet. If Detroit kills this, I think you got a good bet. You got a good final leg on that one. Real quick, the other Edmonton, I got player props. Back to player props. Going back to this, made a few bucks on the games this past weekend. We had a lot of games over Thanksgiving break, American Thanksgiving. Got filled the coffers back up a little bit with some of those games, so I'm back to player props. Player prop tonight, going with the late game, Oilers versus Vegas. Collectively, the Edmonton Oilers have the most defenseman points. Who would have thought that? I know they got Bouchard, but some of the other guys, but collectively they have the most defenseman points. So I'm going over half a point for Bouchard over 0.5 point with Barbashev, a forward for Vegas. You put those in a parlay, you're looking at plus 200. And then if you want to throw in another leg on that parlay, take the over. I know, Toast, you had said over in the first period. I like that. These teams both have quick starts. Goaltending sketchy on both teams. But I'm taking the overall over at 6.5. Right now, if that's a single bet, it's a minus 110, typical NHL betting. The over-under on that sits at about 110. But if you want to parlay that with those two, with the Barbashev over 1 point, Bouchard over 1 point, you might be sitting pretty good there.
Yeah, this is exciting. Like right out of the gate tonight, like JT said, we switched gears. But it's kind of been a wild night. And the live betting usually it actually doesn't happen right at this moment, but tonight it's actually 1 in 10 actually do so. So
we had a lot of games hitting right now. So to jump on the live betting segment, and we'll keep with it. We're going to talk about Around the Ice. Let's get to it, fellas.
Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. And the best game you can name is the good old hockey game.
Hey!
Yay, there we go. So we jumped into the early bets. Jumped in that segment. Let's talk about a little bit of things as we were kind of rapid fire there, trying to throw our bets in here as we're getting to the end. Let's talk about some games tonight, fellas. Let's talk about some things that are happening. Avalanche came back 5-4 win over the Sabres. The Kraken 4-2 in an upset over the Hurricanes at plus 240. Canadians ended up pulling out a close one in overtime, 2-1 over the Islanders in a low-scoring game. And then same thing happened with the Capitals and Sharks. Sharks getting a 2-1 win as a plus 240 money line in OT as well. Like we said, right now, currently we got Calgary and Columbus 0-0 in the first. Vancouver up 2-1 on Minnesota at the end of 2. St. Louis 2-0 at the end of 2 over Winnipeg. Florida, Pittsburgh, Panthers on a monster comeback. It's 4-4. We're headed to extra innings. No, overtime. 4-4 overtime. We have, and then we got 2-2 between Detroit and Boston. Minute 15 left in that, as that has a shot and also going to overtime. A lot of close games tonight, a lot of good action. And if you're looking for a late night bet, you don't want to jump on live. Oilers versus the Golden Knights starts here in about 13 minutes. Toast, give everybody, in case they missed it, what your bet for this Oilers Golden Knights game is here for the late night action.
Yeah, again, an over the 1.5 total goals in the first period. These teams, I expect Vegas to kind of come out pissed off after, again, the 6-0 drubbing by the hands of Utah, coming in. Utah was struggling at the time, and worst home loss in franchise history. I expect Vegas to at least put up 1, if not more. Edmonton, you know how they can actually score as well. Goaltending for both these teams have actually been shaky. Skinner has been a little bit better of late, but nevertheless on the road versus a Vegas team is pissed off. I think the over, it's minus 150. I wish it was actually a little bit of a better price. But that is a game I'm actually wanting to get on here. And don't wait. Go ahead and get on that now. But the game I want to talk about here is Columbus at Flames, and it's going on right now. I don't think there's any score. It's 4 minutes left. You got 7-6 on the shots in favor of the Flames. Emotional matchup. Johnny Gaudreau being remembered before the game. It started pretty late. I watched the ceremony for him. It was very, very touching. Really, really good gesture, of course, by Calgary. His family was in attendance. They were actually all wearing Calgary Flames jerseys, which I thought fitting as well, considering he spent the majority, if not almost all, of his career there in the Flames. But this game specifically is going to be played very, very close. I would imagine that if you can get on the draw for it to actually go into overtime, I can imagine you could probably find that at plus 300, plus 330 on the live bet. That's probably the way it's going to go. You know it's going to be close, but Columbus has been scoring in bunches, man. I think my third favorite team right now, you got the Hawks number 1. You actually have Ottawa number 2. I'm loving Columbus as my third favorite team. JT, we need to get the Columbus versus the Hawks in Columbus and actually sit on the ice here or on the glass here soon and do that. But the Flames are
my
9-3
just
at home this
texted me
season.
the other day about the game.
We're going.
Like, let
We're
me
going.
know. I got a buddy
No,
who might
set
get
it
some
up.
tickets, so we got to get that thing locked in. We got to get locked in the schedule.
Yeah, set it up. The Flames are 9-3 at home this season, but they've lost 4 in a row. And if you look back at who they've actually lost to the last 4, not good competition at all. We're talking about Pittsburgh. We're actually talking about Detroit. We're actually talking about Ottawa. And in these same Columbus Blue Jackets, who are the best teams of all of those, actually beat them 5-2, I believe, maybe just a week ago. Columbus on a roll, 6-3-1 in the last 10, scoring a ton as well. I like Columbus. I cannot believe they're actually road dogs coming into the Flames. But again, in an emotional matchup, anything can happen.
And
Aaron,
I'm
games kind of jump out to you tonight of everything that's kind of going on. A lot of action tonight, a lot of close games.
Absolutely. And I'd say the standout game for me is the Wings and Bruins. It's the feature game on ESPN right now. So ESPN Plus, ESPN, whatever. Most of us should have some sort of streaming service, so anybody can pick this game up right now. It is getting ready to drop the puck here in overtime, but this game's been played like a playoff game. Both teams. Bruins kind of on the way down. Red Wings have thrown together some better play here as of late. Could be on the way up, but I just don't see right now. Bruins 3-way tie for that third spot and a wild card spot. But again, the kind of when Sacco took over, had a good start with that. That's kind of cooled off. So I see the Bruins and Wings in this tight game. And again, it's been tight checking. There's been animosity. There was a dust up. Zadorov doing his thing. I think it was an icing call or something. Took somebody hard in the boards, but that game's been again playoff-esque, I would say. The other game I'll mention real quick was the one that just ended, just went final with the Sharks winning in overtime. Just for nothing else to say, it's fun watching Celebrini. For the non-Blackhawk fans that maybe tuned in to watch Bedard play, he's the 1-1 pick, clear number 1. Celebrini, pretty much carbon copy of that, clear 1-1 pick. I mean, 2 different styles of game. But Celebrini's a lot of fun to watch. A lot of ice time he's getting in there. And I was telling, just before we went on, I was telling Toast that Tom Wilson took a run at him. It looked like knocked out some teeth there. So Celebrini might have a different look next time we see him. Not this young face. Automatically look a little bit older when you're
Tom Wilson taking someone out. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I don't believe Tom Wilson taking someone out. I mean, that's crazy talk. That's crazy talk.
Yeah, it cost him the game though, because he caught the double minor. There was blood. So
I tell you what, there's been a couple
times.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's been a couple times me and Toast had a conversation whether we wanted to draft him in certain leagues because we're like, we like him.
Yeah.
He's a good in a bangers league, but like, is he gonna get suspended half the season for doing a bunch of dumb shit? Like, so I mean, we've actually legit had that conversation. Like, do we want to take the chance that he like ends up with a bunch of suspensions and misses a ton of time? Because you just never know with him. I mean, he's a tough freaking dude, and that's can't believe he knocked his teeth out. That's so Wilson. That's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Hey, and I want to say too, guys, real quick. Sorry, Aaron. Appreciate our listeners. Of those, there's a lot of guys actually tune in on a weekly basis. Tell your friends, tell people. I think we got a pretty good show. We'd like to get some more listeners going on. We're doing a pretty good job of actually trying to get out there and make ourselves known on social media. But this is a good show. Listen to a lot of different podcasts and not really having a biased lens here, but we're as good as really anybody else. So tune in, actually pass this along, allow other people to actually know about us. And we'd love to have some more listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you go on, like us at the JT Stu Brew, also at Fantasy and Frames, both the YouTube channels. Check us out at Toast Clark, at Titch4141, and at JT Orange on the X. Follow us. Let's talk about that. Talking about the Red Wings game here a little bit. Simon Edmondson has not been getting a lot of pub lately. Second-year pro, first-round 6th pick. People kind of were like, is that a little high for him? 2 assists tonight with 2 Raymond goals. Red Wings got some young guys playing pretty well. I'm kind of pumped about it, to be honest with you. In our Bangers League, I have Edmondson on the team. I've got him on the minor. Like, I've started pulling him up throughout the week and playing him. But I tell you what, the 21-year-old Swede looking solid for as young as he is. I'm loving what I'm seeing out of the 6'6", 210 defenseman.
Yeah, I think he's grown into his game. He actually caught some screen time earlier in the broadcast. I had the volume on, and they did a little couple of minutes. As I'm saying this, it's not escaping me that the Bruins just tucked one in for the win, though. Not to ruin the mood, but
of course, right over my shoulder. Of course,
it was a junk goal. I thought they were going to review it. It looked like. Yeah, well, you could see it when they show the replay here. But back to your point on Edmondson, yeah, he's
just missed his. He was on the ice. It just missed.
Yeah, he took a bar one, a -1 on that. But
that's what I get. That's what I get for trying to talk good about my guys.
I think this year is that year that people were waiting. Again, we're talking about somebody who's 21. Like you said, JT, 6'6", lanky guy, gets in those shooting lanes, but his offense, his hands are catching up with the rest of his body. He is a good. I think where the segment came up on the broadcast today, the ESPN broadcast, they were talking about his outlet feed. Getting a puck up the half wall to the forwards, to the attackers. He's getting that dialed in and hitting those passes tape to tape, which again, it's one of those boring things that everybody kind of overlooks, but it's the heart. My opinion, again, beer league bender, it's harder to take those passes than it is to dish them. So you can dish them and hit somebody's stick. Doesn't mean they're going to do anything with them, but he's getting them to a place, the righties, he's getting them into the left side of their body so they can see it in. Lefties opposite of that. So just those finer details, finer points that at the NHL level, at that speed, it just takes time. Again, he's had some NHL experience. He's 21. But I'm a huge fan of them. And again, those Swedes, they know how to defend. They know how to play the game. They have the bigger ice over there in Europe. So their conditioning is not a problem when they play in the NHL on the smaller ice surface. So love him. Wish we had him. I'd like to say that Vlasic, again, going Hawks Wings, I'd like to see the maturation or I'd like to see Vlasic get to Edmondson's level here in the next couple of years. If we can get what he looks like now, I think that'd be a big win for us. His only reason I'm bringing that comparison, two lanky defenders, future of both franchises, and hopefully we'll have a similar path. We'll see.
So you got any more games do you want to talk about before we move on to the next segment?
Nope. Other than the fact that the parlay of the day that actually it died because Pittsburgh did win that game in overtime 5-4. But I went ahead and while I was waiting, I went ahead and just jumped right on the over 1.5 total goals in the Edmonton Vegas game, and I went pretty heavy. So we'll be watching that. But man, I am JT. I'm ready to actually talk some Dynasty guys, some Cats guys, some Bangers guys. I say we do it.
All right, here we go. Next segment is on.
And you, young Skywalker, we will watch your career with great interest.
This is our Future is Bright segment where we talk about some of the young guys, up and coming guys you need to have your eye on if you're a Dynasty manager. Who we got this week? Who are we talking about? We threw out some bomb guys last week. Not gonna lie, I jumped on and picked up a Russian that is broken. And he was young. He was like, it was like no one else has done this but Tarasenko, and it was one other guy. And I was like, oh, sold. I'm in. I gotta pick him up like immediately. So I picked up Dynasty Bangers League, threw him on the old minor league roster there on them. I like it. So who do we got coming down the pipe here this week, fellas?
David Jurisic. So big trade this last week here. Drisick, who was a highly touted defenseman, big right-handed shot, 6'4", 205, played for Columbus, and was traded to Minnesota this last week here. And Minnesota gave up a lot to get this guy. They like him. They like his frame. They like the right-handed shot. They really actually want to really put him with Brock Faber as well, who's another right-handed defenseman as well. So just think about that, man. Think about their blue line for the next 10 seasons is going to be pretty. It's going to be set up pretty nice. But Minnesota gives up a haul. They give up their first-round pick next year. At the way things are trending, that's going to be a late first-rounder. They give a third and a fourth in 2026 and another second in 2027 and some guy named Damon Hunt, which we don't have to talk about Damon Hunt. That's fine. But the Wild 16-4-4 right now, they're in win now mode, man. And the reason I actually like the Wild in this move for them, Aaron, you may remember they've been in cap hell with this dead money for the Parise and the Suter contracts. They're finally shedding that after this year. That's $15 million, man. That's actually coming out the books. They've been hamstrung by that for the entire time they've had a Kaprizov contract as well. And Kaprizov, he's actually he has one more year after this year on contract. They've actually come out and said they don't plan on him going anywhere. They're going to make sure they actually keep him. We'll see. I would imagine, given who they have on the blue line, actually given how they have Eck and Boldy, they got so much young talent, man. The Wild are actually up and coming. This is a guy who actually traded for in our Bangers League. This was the very first trade in our Bangers League. And I actually sent off Minnesota's top goalie prospect. What the hell was his name? Anybody remember? But I traded him to Freddie. I got Drisick back.
I'll look it up.
And I'm very actually happy now. Yeah, now he's actually traded from Columbus over to Minnesota. No, not Gustafson. It's their prized possession, their goalie. But you wonder why Columbus does a trade like this. You know, I read
that's
that
a lot of
Drisick
picks,
was actually
though.
pretty right. I mean, it was quite a bit for Columbus to actually give up. I know Drisick was actually unhappy about being sent back down to the AHL. Columbus just really couldn't give him the time he actually wanted this year. And man, he landed in a great spot. I mean, so from a fantasy perspective, you don't lose much from Drisick actually going from Columbus over to Minnesota. If anything, you gain, but given what Columbus is actually doing right now, I mean, it was a win-win either way, right? I mean, interesting trade. Drisick, that's a guy that you may want to go ahead and try to target in those deep leagues and the dynasty leagues. But big trade. I don't think he'll actually stay in the AHL very long, if at all. He'll probably actually come over to Minnesota and he'll probably play minutes right away. I don't really think they want to give up that much money when they're 16-4-4 to have him actually go to the AHL. My guess is he's actually coming to the big club and he's going to play big minutes.
Are you talking about Jesper Wallstedt? Is that who it is?
Yep, that was him. Yep, that was him.
Yes.
And that was who I actually traded Wallstedt for Drisick early. And goalies can't be trusted. You guys know that. I mean, they're
like kickers. They're like kickers.
I mean,
you can't trust those dudes. You can't ever trust those dudes.
Nope. So when Aaron actually took Brant Clark, I believe, in the draft as the number one overall defenseman prospect for a Bangers League, anyway, for our dynasty draft, I felt inclined to go and improve what I believe is my already best roster from a minor league perspective and actually get the number 2 rated prospect. And trade to Minnesota, I'm pretty thrilled.
Yeah, and Minnesota, I mean, first place team again. Kind of what didn't they have I think they traded. I have to look. I think they traded for Brock Faber as well. I don't think he was original. I could be wrong about that. Maybe he was original in Minnesota. Either way, the Minnesota Billy Guerin era, they're just they've got an eye. They knew that they wanted him because again, that's a lot. That's a lot of picks. That takes you in. I mean, shoot, all the way to 2026 with some good rounds there that you're giving up. But if that's your guy, that's your guy. I think that the right-handed defenseman, they're at a premium now. You don't see as many as you used to that can contribute offensively, have that heavy shot, run the power play. Good for them. Love them. Love the move. And yeah, Columbus as they're outperforming or they're kind of out kicking their coverage at the moment. Good on them. I mean, that's a lot of picks to wrap up. If this guy is you're not going to bring him up, you don't have the plan for him, doesn't pull the trigger. Love it for both teams.
Yeah, and Aaron, you're right. Faber was drafted by the Kings. So, yes. So, Minnesota's done very, very well actually trading for what is now their top 2 defenseman prospects, and they're damn good ones.
Oh, they're fleecing everybody. Yeah, you guys draft them. We'll just snatch them from you when you're not looking. Yep. What's going on there? Jeez.
Wish my team did that.
Yeah. We're getting rid of them. We're kicking them out of town. Forsling and oh gosh, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Aaron, who do you got on the old Dynasty?
I stuck with the WHL. So mine are a little bit deeper dives. Mine are these 2 guys that I got, and I just got 2 of them, so I'll talk about them quickly here. But these are guys, again, this is going to be targeted to your dynasty leagues. So dynasty that like us, the Dynasty Banger League, and possibly maybe even a redraft. And the reason why I say that is because these guys, you never know how rookie, it's impossible to predict some of these guys outside of the top 3 picks. Some of these guys aren't going to get ice time. So the 2 I've targeted, one is pretty much on everybody's radar. Again, in WHL, he's a top 20 pick on most sheets, but the way he started out this season, he could slip into that top 10 possibly, but it's Roger McQueen. Just awesome name, McQueen. Anything,
oh, yeah.
You automatically think of The Great Escape or some cool Steve McQueen. Love the name. So this guy's and honestly, I was joking with a buddy back in the day. We were kind of looking at prospects and stuff, and it's like, man, outside of like a name like Ivan, if you really think about it, like these hockey, it's just got to have a ring to it. Like some of these guys, so if you can't pronounce the name, they just, it's funny how it never works out for them. Like some of these, these hyphenated names, all this stuff. But anyway, point is, this guy's got an NHL name. He's 6'5", 180 pounds. Should be, like I said, he's sitting around that top 20 for the 2025 draft. I think he's going to move up. He's right now, I believe he's might be right around the 30-point mark. I could be wrong. But definitely a player to keep an eye on there in the dub. And the WHL, a little bit rougher than some of the other major junior leagues up there in Canada. So he's getting he's getting pounded on. At 6'5", 180, he's probably doing more of the pounding than he's taking. So, guy to keep your eye on. Again, if you're in the dynasty draft, dynasty leagues, you probably already know him. He's probably already on your radar. You probably, great if you get a top pick. Go ahead and target this guy. Next guy, kind of sitting out of the top 32. I'd say he might be an early, right where he sits right now, probably early second round of the 2025 draft. But he's made a splash. He leads all WNHL rookies in the WHL, 29 points in 25 games. He's 18 years old. I think he's draft eligible 2025. But Gavin Garland, another forward, not the big size that Roger McQueen has, but he is really surpassing. He again, one of those guys that late first round, early second round. But the way he started out and the way he's been playing there in the dub has surpassed expectations so far. So again, it's one of those guys that you kind of keep an eye on him now, especially in these deeper leagues. Maybe he stays where he's at. So maybe he goes, round 2, pick 1, something like that. But your league, if you're in a dynasty league, is going to draft it. It's just somebody you might want to keep an eye on him, see what he does, see what his final stats are. But he's one that could move up here quickly. But that's what I got for the next coming. Oh, and one other real quick plug. I don't know what the rosters are, but the World Junior Championships, those kick off over Christmas break. Well, most of us, if you have kids out there, it's over the Christmas break, but those kick off the day after Christmas, the 26th or 27th, I believe, of December, and they go through the 6th of January. Watch those if you can. It's not the easiest thing. None of the major markets broadcast them. You got to usually find a hack job, YouTube, whatever. But watch those games because the kids that make the roster are the cream of the crop for those countries. It's kind of like the best on best tournament that's coming up in February for the NHL. But this is where these guys really take it to another level. It's all 18 and under. They're all or 18 or 19 and under, but it's high level. And US won last year with an absolutely loaded lineup. They're the favorites going into it this year. They're right there neck and neck with Canada, but that's good young players, and they all showcase. And I'll be damned, everybody that showcases in these, they make a splash in the NHL. All eyes are always on this tournament. It's a fun tournament to watch.
Yeah, it feels like these are the guys that are always like our future number one picks, like top 15, top 25 guys. Like these are, for anybody who's newer to hockey, hockey gets way into professional style way before any other league. Like they're doing this stuff at like 13, 14, 15 years old. So by the time a lot of these guys get to 17, 18, and they're on these national teams, it's pretty well known these are the guys. Like it's like you're not seeing a lot of guys come out of nowhere. These are the players that everyone's watching, everyone's looking at. So when you watch these, it's gonna be a little different than watching like a high school basketball tournament. Like these guys are like the prop in the world at that age, and it's high level hockey, and especially for Dynasty, these are guys you're going to see getting drafted over the next 1, 2, 3 years for sure.
Yeah, well said. It is unique in that way that these tournaments really bring it. So if you, like you said, JT, if you're new to hockey, new to fantasy, who are these sleeper draft picks? Who's going to make a splash? Watch this. Everybody that's on these rosters that made the roster, they'll likely play in the big league. Might not be next year, but the year after that even. It's a great talent showcase, and I love it.
Now it's time for our favorite segment of the show. Let's bang. So this is a segment where we talk about our Bangers League. If you're a banger, you play in a Bangers League, which our home Dynasty League is a Bangers League. So we talk about that, scoring in that. Obviously, if you have any questions, concerns about how you run your league, you want to make it similar to how our scoring is, or you just want to see what our scoring looks like to see how we did it. If you're starting your own league or you want to make adjustments to your league, let us know. Hit us up. We'll love to share that info with you guys. So just hit us up. We'll tell you how we do that. But this is our Bangers League segment. If you've never played in a Bangers League, the difference is we give more points for penalty minutes, hits, and blocks. It makes defensive guys worth more. It evens out the playing field a little bit over just the scores. Some people love it. Some people hate it. We're in the we love it. We love Bangers League. We want guys to be physical. We want guys to count for more points. And this is our Bangers League segment. Take it away, fellas.
I'll go ahead and jump in here, JT, and I'm going to talk about this guy before anybody else talks about him in the rest of the year. This will be the only time we talk about him, and it's no surprise. But Brady Tkachuk, man, like Toast, you could have talked about anybody. Why do you actually talk about your favorite player? Because he's so damn good when it actually comes to being a banger beauty, man. So just give me 3 minutes here. Let me actually talk about Brady real quick and how great he is. And if you are in a banger league, on why you should actually give up pretty much about anybody or anything to actually get him, because he's only 25 years old. Okay. So let me throw out some numbers at you here real quick. He's got 13 goals and 15 assists for 28 points in 28 games. Or I'm sorry, in 24 games. 99 hits so far, 15 blocks, 50 PIMs already. 50. 103 shots on goal. There ain't nobody in the league can do what he does. Fill up an entire stat sheet. He is second in the league in PIMs and shots on goal. He's fifth in hits. This year he's pacing 40 goals, 40 assists, 400 shots on goal, 375 hits, and 150 PIMs. I mean, holy crap, man. I mean, it's not fair. So Martini actually has him in our league. Martini, I hate you. You stole my guy. I'll never forgive you for this. But here's the interesting thing about Brady Tkachuk, and I actually want to get your guys' opinion. All right, this is very, very important. So 3 more years left on his deal, and what a sweet deal it is, man. At $8.2 million, he's the captain of that team. But next year, the no movement clause comes into play. And man, they had high expectations this season. Right now, Ottawa is the third worst team in the NHL. They're sitting at 10, 12, and 2. They're second to the last in the East. The Hawks are the worst in the West. And they're trending towards another top 5 pick. They got a core of Brady Tkachuk, Norris, Batherson, Stützle, Shabbat. But it's not working. It's not working at all. It's been rumored that they want to shake things up, kind of like New York Rangers want to shake things up. Ottawa's in the bottom 3 of shots allowed in the league, but they're in the top 10 on shots for. The save percentage is awful at .881 as a team. The underlying geek numbers are really, really good for their team as far as Corsi and Fenwick from an offensive production. They can't defend, man. They can't defend worth a crap. They brought in Nick Jensen from Washington this year, really trying to kind of shore up that blue line. Hasn't worked. They got too many, in my opinion, like with Sanderson and Shabbat, they got too many offensive defensemen. So I want to ask you guys, like, right now, the top 2 teams in the league with the most cap space is the Hawks and the Blue Jackets. And you would have to think that both these teams, I'm not saying that Chuck is going anywhere, but there have been rumors of him actually going somewhere. What do you guys think it would actually take to get Brady Tkachuk out of Ottawa and actually wear maybe a Hawks jersey or a Jackets jersey? Have you guys thought about that? Because they will not have full control of that guy come next year, and things are not trending the way they actually want. Their entire core is actually wrapped up for the entire 5-6 seasons. But their captain, they lose control next season. What do you think they do?
Real quick before we get in here, and Aaron gives his 2 cents on this. Since we're talking Bangers League, I just want to give people a little bit of context. Brady Tkachuk right now in our Bangers League is number 1 in the league in scoring. And not is he number 1 by a little bit. He's number 1 by a lot. He is 30 points more than Sam Reinhart, who's number 2 in our league, which Martini has both guys. Screw you, Martini. Then Mikko Rittinen, Toast has him, is number 3. Nathan McKinnon is number 4. And he is 30 points more in hockey. This isn't like football, like 30 points more in hockey is a lot of freaking points. He has 30 more points than anyone in our Bangers League. He's averaging 7.65 points a game. No one else is averaging over 5 other than Connor Hellebuyck. The goalie is averaging 6.88. Everyone else is under 6. He's at 7.65. Just to give the people context in a Bangers League, why Toast is banging the drum for this guy, it's unreal. I cannot see him. I'll let Aaron jump in big time on this. I cannot see him in Columbus, just for the fact is I feel like he needs to be in a bigger market than that. I could absolutely see him in Chicago. I could absolutely see him on one of the big dog teams and somebody making a move and giving up a lot of picks for him. Now the question is the Blackhawks. They're young and building. Can you give up enough that you can get him without crushing your rebuild? They would have the best assets, being one of the worst teams, that they could go get him. So that makes sense. To me, that makes more sense than the Blue Jackets, but I want to after, I just wanted to set that up for everyone so they kind of knew why we're, oh yeah, of course he's one of the best. This is why we're talking about, like, you have to make this move. This guy's 25, one of the absolute best. Aaron, give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way Ottawa lets him go. No way at all. They've had their challenges with ownership. So think of our situation with the Bears right now. Not to switch sports too much, and not to, I could do 30 minutes on the Bears right now and the McCaskey family.
You gonna depress me? I mean, come on.
Yeah. I don't want to.
This was like I was having a good time, Aaron, and then you blew it. You just brought up the Bears and you screwed me.
Well, and we've had a history with the Wirtz family owning the Blackhawks, and I mean, Bill Wirtz specifically. The Wirtz family still has it, but the kids have taken it over and taken it in a direction where 3 cups, whatever. So we all know, we've all lived through this to bad ownership, one way or another. I actually, JT, with your teams, I don't know if I can't say that's true. The Ilyich family for Detroit, and then you got what is Irsay? Irsay the Colts. So this may be a new concept
for the Steelers. I mean, pretty good ownership. So we've been. You can't complain too much.
You may be immune from this, so Toast and I may have a different language to speak here. But point I'm making is Ottawa had struggles with that. They had terrible ownership. They had no direction, directionless team. They were having trouble fill seats. If nothing else, Brady Tkachuk's gonna put butts in seats. So I think when you get a guy like that on your team, you don't let him go. You sink the hooks in. You pay him what you need to pay. I would be shocked to death if he got moved. Back to your point, JT, would the Hawks have enough? I don't know. They'd have to empty the coffers. These guys, they've been sitting on, developing. You talk about last year's pick, Leshimanov. I'm butchering his name, but he's probably got to go. They're right now. They're gearing up. I mean, can you imagine who's the standout? Higgins. Higgins is the one this year. Well, I'm just saying, like, if the Hawks finish last and they win the lottery again and they get Higgins, now maybe that's too much to give. So I don't think that I think they've got their system and they've got their guys bringing in Tkachuk. But I'll say this too. I'm not to the obsessed level that you are with Brady Tkachuk, but I go on the other day to flipped on the Ottawa game, and he is absolutely beating the wheels off some dude. He was ragdolling him, throwing him around, swinging that right, and Ottawa had a 2-goal lead. It's like, what? This guy he's just a lunatic, so he does it all. But he does it all. He hits. He plays the game the right way. He's got the right last name. He's got family in his blood, and he just has a crazy look. You look at him, and those guys in high school, maybe on the wrestling team or the football team. They look at you, but it was like they're looking past you, like 1,000-yard stare. That's what this guy's got, and he's so young. He's 25. I love everything about him. I just don't see him ever moving. I don't think anybody would be able to pony up what it would take to get him. I think he's Ottawa for life. Now, what does Ottawa do? The last point on this, when you started talking about this, Edmonton tried to do this. They had all this. This is pre-McDavid, okay? So Edmonton had like 4 first-round picks, 4 1-1s. Nail Yakupov, huge dud. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Taylor Hall, and I can't remember the other one. Maybe it was just 3 of them, whatever. They were scoring, at a good tick, but they were letting in 1 million goals. They had no defense, no goaltender. So what do? They trade Taylor Hall to New Jersey for Adam Larson. Adam Larson, great defenseman, shutdown guy, but he didn't do anything in Edmonton. Taylor Hall goes on to win the Hart Trophy that year. That is the type of play. When you trade an offensive guy for a shutdown D-man, no one went to an Edmonton game to watch Adam Larson kill penalties. People went to New Jersey to watch Taylor Hall score 50 goals that year. So it never works when you trade offense for defense. It just doesn't work in the NHL. That's why I think Tkachuk is staying. As I say this, maybe he gets traded. So who knows? But no, I think he's there for life.
Yeah, I agree with you. They'd be crazy to trade him. The Hawks do actually have 4 first rounders in the next 3 years. and they have 7 second-rounders. So, and they have a lot of young capital. So again,
and that's the question: is like, does Ottawa bottom out? Do they like kind of fall apart where they're like, we've got all these young guys, and we keep thinking we look awesome, but we're them. All it takes is one dumb GM who's like, I can fix it. I can give me more picks, and then starts shipping guys off, and you're like, and then you look down the road in 5 years, and you're like, all those guys were on Ottawa? What? Like they were all on the same team. They're all playing for awesome other teams. So you just never know if that would happen or not. But I mean, Ottawa's just one of those teams we talk about all the time. Tons of talent, especially offensively, tons of talent. And you just can't figure out why this team is not better than they are every year. Because you look at their lineup, you're like, God, it's like like Toast. Toast is like, this is my damn near my second favorite team, just because all the guys are fun to watch, all kinds of offense. But man, they can't get it together.
Yeah.
Anybody else you guys got for this category before we move on? Aaron, you got anybody?
Oh, for bangers, yeah, just actually one guy for the bangers. We've got Brendan Dillon, defenseman for New Jersey Devils. Now he doesn't get a lot. He's third pairing, so he's around 18, 19 minutes per game. But he's up to 72 hits right now, 37 penalty minutes, and 50 block shots. So again, when we talk about that banger league, somebody that is maybe a little bit on the back burner, doesn't hit those headlines, but he's putting up the numbers. He's quietly putting in. Devils had a fantastic start, kind of mellowed out. Now they're winning again, so they're playing with the lead a lot, and he's the shutdown guy. If he's available in your league, you're in a banger league, somebody you'd want to target, at least take a look at. Again, at 3.5 points a game, but he's never on a score sheet. Perfect banger.
Nice. I like it. Those are the guys you got to look for sometimes. Just a guy to get in there, get you some points game to game. Make sure you have something. Make sure they're not scoring you 0. I feel like that's the banger league. That's the way you got to play in the bangers league. Like, I just got to get guys on getting me some points. Like, just can't take zeros. And I feel like sometimes in a banger league, you get those offensive guys, and you're like, yeah, they look nice when they're scoring, but man, when they don't score, they're getting you a whole lot of nothing. And you're just like, oh, give me a defenseman or a third line forward that's just gonna hit somebody, right? You're like, I just want that guy's gonna hit somebody and get me some points. So that is gonna do it for our Banger League segment. Our next segment coming to you here, kitty.
The category is
our Cats League segment. Here we go. Fellas, what we got for the all those cat leaguers out there? This is one, I have to be honest, I don't like Cats League, and it's only because I want to have the best players on my team no matter what, and I'm terrible about strategizing. The guys are going to score me X amount in this category and that category. I played in a couple hockey leagues, a couple basketball leagues. I was terrible in the Cats leagues because I was just like, oh, this guy's the best guy. And then they're like, well, he's not giving you any points in this or that or whatever else. So you guys tell us, for all those guys out there in the Cats leagues, what should we be looking at this week?
I can't believe I'm saying this, JT, but I'm looking at Mikael Granlund for San Jose. And San Jose, they're playing good hockey. They won again tonight. Think about how San Jose actually started off this year. I think it was 0-7-1. But if you look at their last 15 games, man, they're looking great. Granlund's 32 years old. I like him in the Cats League because he'll cover you with goals, assists, shots on goal, and faceoffs. Okay, so this year he is way overproducing. All right, 10 goals, 18 assists, 28 points in 26 games. That's not Mikael Granlund. We actually know. Pacing for 88 points, and this is what's super shocking. 76 shots on goal, shooting 13.2%, averaging about a hit a game. So he's 48% at the dot, 172 faceoffs once. He's playing, again, probably by design, right? Because they actually want to bring in veterans to that team. And you got Celebrini actually coming in. You got a young team. He's playing 20 minutes and 30 seconds time on ice a game and 3 minutes on a power play. And this is what I love. Also 2 minutes on a shorthanded. He does both, which is insane. So he is blowing all of his statistics for his career. He's blowing them out of the water. This year, it's not even close. He's going to blow them out of the water at this pace here. But I think he's a sell high candidate. The underlying numbers with the Corsi, with the Fenwick, they show regression, man. It's coming. So I also like him the fact that he's center, right wing eligible, so he can actually have dual eligibility there. He's playing on the line 3 with Will Smith, who was a very high draft pick, I believe. Was it last year? Or was it last year?
Yeah, last year.
Last year. Number 2 pick, I want to say. Surprisingly, number 2 pick or number 3, somewhere around there. But he gets power play 1 deployment as well. San Jose is playing better. Mikhail Granlund is actually filling up categories. He really, really is. Right now, if I'm a Granlund owner in a Cats league, I'm selling high. I'm actually going out there and, excuse me, you can see if I can actually get a little bit more value, especially if I have a little bit of younger player, and especially if that's actually in a categories league that's actually a dynasty league. Go ahead and move Mikhail Granlund while you can right now. This isn't going to last.
I like that move. He's a veteran on a super young team, so he's like getting those looks. He's playing a little bit more than you would expect out of him. My worry is, how long is it going to last? Like you said, Toast, like can he keep this up all season? I don't know. I feel like the numbers are inflated right now. I think you're right. I think now is the time. If you can move him for something, it would be wise.
And I got the perfect guy you should target for him. Travis Sanheim. He had his coming out party last year. Another
Did we lose
Looks
him?
like we possibly lost Aaron. We'll see if he jumps back in here real quick. Maybe. Aaron, you back? We lost you for a second. Start back on your.
You got me now?
We lost you right at the beginning.
Travis Sanheim. So he's again, he kind of hit everybody's radar last year. He certainly had it coming out last year. This year, more of the same. Right now, he leads the league, tied for the league in takeaways with 25. So it's one of those, again, those cat categories that are tracked, those takeaways. So currently leading the league, but more than that, he's 25 minutes time on ice. He's doing the same thing. So to your point, Granlund, he's killing penalties and he's playing on the power play. So I would try to buy low on him again. Defenseman, a lot of leagues he's out there on that perennial free agent. Somebody picks him up for a week because they need a improving with his takeaways, and the differential between takeaways and giveaways is pretty big. He's not chucking the puck up, and he has a young team. Phillies, what they're doing again, they're surprising us again this year. So I would target him. I would try to get him if you can. If you can sell somebody high for him, he's a good player to target.
All right, and we're head to our last segment of the night. Let's So this is where we talk about trade opportunities, guys we like, guys we're looking to move, guys we want to trade for. Who we got on tap tonight?
JT, this one stumped me. I'm in a redraft league, and somebody was actually made a trade of Philip Forsberg for Sebastian Aho straight up. And we know Nashville has actually underperformed that entire team. And Marchessault's never really fit in right there. Stamkos, I wouldn't say Stamkos has been awful. He really hasn't. I think he's going to end up having a pretty good season. Forsberg's been fine, but man, if you look at Forsberg last year, I believe he was like 45 and 45, 90 points, shit ton of shots. This year, 9 goals, 8 assists, 17 points in 25 games, 85 shots on goal, the 10.6 shot percentage. That's got to come up a little bit. They've only got 8 power play points so far. He hits at 60. That's awesome. So I like Forsberg as well. But he's only getting, if you think about Forsberg, one of the probably top 15 to 20 best players in the league. He's only getting 19 minutes time on ice and 3 minutes about on power play. You would think he's actually over 20. I'm just a little surprised by that. Aho, really, Aho is a guy that really is a pass first, shoot second type of guy. But this year, 7 goals, 18 assists, 25 points in 25 games, 64 shots on goal at a 10.9 shooting percentage. That's good for Aho. That's really good. 187 faceoff ones as well, and only 1932 time on ice for a Carolina team that really likes to kind of spread it out, right? They like to use all 4 lines, especially the first 3 lines, and not really overtax anybody as well. But this is one where it all comes down to, is Nashville going to go ahead and are they going to get over the hump? Are they going to be better? My fear is that Nashville is going to try to sell at some point, because Nashville right now is sitting as 4th worst overall team in the NHL. I couldn't imagine one more week, 2 more weeks here, and they know it's actually all is lost. They're not going to make that comeback they actually expected. They come out and actually got some old veterans as well. I'm thinking I'd probably want to be on the Aho train, but I'm torn on this one. I'm curious on actually what you guys think. Again, this is a redraft, points, head-to-head, standard league scoring.
My initial thoughts, I'll just jump in real quick. In a bangers league, I could see Forsberg here because he's going to get you those hits and blocks, even though he's down on scoring. In a straight scoring league where you're not points for those, looking at the stats for those two, man, Aho has 8 more points than him this year. They're shooting similar. Forsberg's got more shots on goal. But Aho's been better on the power play. So that's the toughie right now. For me, I'm probably leaning Aho. If it was a bangers league, I can see making this trade because Forsberg probably is going to score you a little more consistently night to night. But yeah, in a points league, I think Aho for me here.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a redraft, I'm thinking Aho probably takes this one. I'd stay away from Nashville. I wouldn't have anything to do with them. They stink, and they're never going to get out of there. They got, like you said, Toast. They got to do something at the deadline. This did not work.
They're going to.
I commend their the level of effort to bring a winner into town. That those fans deserve it. They actually no, they don't. I don't like Nashville fans. They were nasty to us. They were nasty to us in the playoffs. They're anti-Hawks.
Nice. I was like, I was like, wow, all right.
No, they suck. They deserve every minute of this. So screw them. But, it just didn't work. It didn't work. You gambled. And you lost. What do they call Nashville? Nashville's now the Vegas of the East. It's all the bachelor parties and bachelorette parties. So, hey, look, you gambled, you lost. Lick your wounds and do something about it. Complete opposite of Washington, that was did a lot of moves, but they took those second and third tier guys, where Nashville got all the big name free agents. And so yeah, if you're in a redraft league, I'm all over that. If I'm Aho, and if I'm the one getting Aho, I think you fleeced him. If you're in a dynasty league like us, you're splitting hairs. I think in the grand scheme of things, unless you plan on moving 1 or 2 of them, or you threw in a pick or something like that, you're you're kissing your sister. Is really nobody's going to win that. Overall, I think those two guys Nashville will get through this. He'll be back to where he was when this mess kind of settles. Aho is what he is. I think you end up evening out if you're in a dynasty league.
Final face-off, fellas. Thoughts? I'll give you my first thought tonight. You to follow my JT Parlay live bet. I hope you took everything the opposite. I really do. So you hit. That one was. It got ugly real quick on me. Going back through the scores, I'm definitely going to lose every leg of that JT Parlay live bet. Toast, we're still 2 minutes left in the first. It's 1-0 Vegas. We need one more goal here to hit the over. Somebody get a shot on goal. Somebody get one up. Get us some points. These guys are just not even trying.
Not going to happen.
The shots on goal right now are 4-3. 4-3.
Yeah.
No one coming out with any energy whatsoever. Ugh.
I'll
just
lose
put
my
a shot on
tonight.
goal already, people. It's brutal.
Just chasing.
It's rough. I like where
me
we're
just
at.
chasing, man. That's been bad.
Oh, that's a rough one. Final thoughts for you guys as we close out the show.
I got Barbashev. He tucked the first one in, and I need a Bouchard point, and that little. I'm not going to say it's bad. Obviously, it hasn't happened. It's not going to happen in the first period. But if Bushi gets that point, then I might be back to betting these player parlays. So fingers crossed. I hope it hits, and they got to pick this up. They got to get some goals.
Nice. Anything out of you, Toast, before we say goodnight to the good people out there?
Nope. I've lost my ass tonight. It's been a fun night, though. Nevertheless,
he's like it was fun. It was great. It was grand. Yeah. But all that progress
I've actually made over the past about week and a half, 2 weeks, it's gone. It's gone. So, not a darn thing actually hit, and probably gonna head to bed.
I appreciate it, fellas. Everybody, thanks for joining us here on Around the Ice on Fantasy and Frames. If you haven't, go like us, subscribe, hit the notification button so you know when we're on. Usually we are on at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central Time. Occasionally that just adjusts a little bit depending on what other shows are going on, what happens to us. But that's our typical time of the night. Feel free to hit us up. Follow us on the X at Toast Clark, at JT Orange, and at Titch4141. Also go follow Fantasy and Frames. And if you haven't followed our X account yet, go on there, Fifth Hockey, FIF Hockey on the X. Follow that as well. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. This was Around the Ice on Fantasy and Frames.